That golf swing of mine is just a little bit off, as you can see. Let's go. Let's do this.
Do you know what, Christopher? As we would say where I live in Essex, you are absolutely off your nut.
English.
English. English, you're absolutely off your nut.
Well, let me tell you, the one thing that I mustn't be is what keeps people in their place, which is normal. We have to be crazy, we have to be deluded, we have to be nuts. We have to be the nuts. We have to be the bollocks. That language is acceptable. Please.
How are you?
I am excellent, thank you.
Interesting press conference today. It was a different setup here. I suppose it's your...
Different.
Different, yeah.
The setup was professional.
Professional and different.
Sophisticated. On point. EUBANK-esque. 1 minute. Please, carry on.
What did you make of Reynold Quinlan's demeanour, his body language? He's been quite vocal on Twitter. He came here and I got the impression he didn't freeze, but he wasn't as vocal or as maybe outspoken as I presumed he was going to be. What did you make of him?
The most important perception for me to actually pick up from this world champion is as follows. He has fear. Fear is good in boxing because it makes you quick, it makes you sharp, it makes you intelligent. It effectively acts like the drug that they use in the movie Limitless. Adrenaline makes you run faster, it makes you absorb punishment better. So fear I respect, and my job is to transcribe, translate, put across this perception to Chris Eubank Jr. so that he does the job as he's supposed to do, which is to electrocute him in the most brutal of ways. This type of behavior Junior has been built to do, and so therefore on the 4th of February, ITV box office, always an absolute pleasure, you're going to see a display of complete and total annihilation, or better said, evisceration. Bring it.
Let's talk about this ITV box office event next week. You gave yourself the shortest possible time to promote this, 4 weeks before the undercard was announced, tickets went on sale. Why was that?
I did nothing of the sort, sir. I only look after Junior and make sure that he is ready. Poxon, Richard Poxon is the promoter. Richard Poxon works with ITV. ITV and Richard have done what they've done, and it is working beautifully. Lastminute.com, so it seems, but everything is out. Venue, perfect, tickets on sale, pay-per-view buys coming in their droves. It's a wonderful thing. And, you know, I must say this for those of you who would say that other promoters would be safer. I don't want to play safe. If I could have actually put Barry Hearn in the position that he sits in at Sky, which he has then on the strength of that, given his son a position at Sky, then I can do the same for my own son. And remember, Barry, you didn't help me in my time of crisis, so I had to hold my nerve. Okay, and I would never do the same to you. If you need my help, I will always be there for you. Point of fact, you can try it and test it. I'm here for you.
Going back to the pay-per-view, Chris. 2 questions in one here. How many buys do you expect this event to do? 1. Secondly, how many would you be happy with?
You see, now here is the key point for me. Having my son and winning my son a position where he is his own man, building his own platform, that in itself is the win that I want. I shouldn't have to be second fiddle to any other fighter because of a promoter who puts another fighter in front of mine when Chris Eubank Jr. is by far the most exciting fighter on the planet, on Earth. Why should he be put in a particular lane behind others? So, if there is one, it is ours. And that means we are our own people. We're not second fiddle to these guys who I put into business. And the likes of me actually put their children through school, Edward Hearn included. You may not like the truth, but it is. And as you put me under pressure, and as you are speaking of me as unpleasant, there's nothing unpleasant about me putting you in a position that I did. And if he should say that it isn't so, sit down with me in a face-off. It can be on Sky on your platform. It can be on ITV. It can be, you can organize it. So long as it can go to ITV and Sky, let's do that. I have nothing to hide. You know, surely he has nothing to hide. I think he does. And this truth in which I speak is one that should show that I'm going to exonerate myself from all of these stories they've put out about me. Not fair, not right, not cool, and I am not unpleasant. Whenever has anyone seen me be unpleasant? No. That's like going down and staying down when I actually could have gotten up. Never did it, never will.
Going back to my original question, I understand what you were saying, but can we just talk potential figures of what the question I was asking? How many buys do you anticipate this event doing, Chris? And how many would you be happy with?
I am an idealist. Again, you're talking to me about numbers. I have a fellow working with me called Yuri. Yuri can tell you about numbers. As I said, if it's one, it's ours. It isn't anybody else's. So you asking me this question, you're talking to me as though I am an accountant like Edward's father, and I am not. He understands numbers. Me, I understand how to build fighters. So for all you guys out there who are in that four-cornered circle, who want to reach heights and who want to be the best that they can be, I am your man. I will give you the advice. I would like to charge you only for this reason, that when you pay for something, you use it. When you get it for free, it's worth what you paid. Nothing.
Let's switch now to Eddie Hearn. In the interview I did with him around the Christmas time, the same time as the interview with you was done, there was a story that Edward, as you call him, told us about Barry Hearn's birthday and the appearance fee and the driving costs. Can you make comment on this, Chris, please?
Yes, I can. Okay. There's two things I'm going to say. So I have to limit the answer to the question because this is something that should be done in an open forum. This is why the face-off or the gloves are off type scenario it's necessary. It'll be fun. The fans will love it. I mean, if there is any truth to how he's put it across, then surely I'm going to look silly. So therefore, Edward, you have your opportunity to sit down with the champ. Okay, I'm going to give you a shot at the champ. Okay, you, young man, where you will speak your truth and I will speak mine, and the public will make their decision. And there's no getting away from that. In actual fact, I'm not giving anything away because I would very much like that man to sit down in front of me in a public forum so he can speak his truth and I can speak mine. I'm not saying anything in regards to the perception that you've given the public. You see, there's one thing about a lie. Time always calls out for truth. In time, everything is seen. You can't hide anything. So, bring it.
Okay, so Chris, just finally on this, I understand again what you've just said. Are you saying what Edward said was untrue? That's it.
What he is being is economical with the truth. And that economy will be put in the cold light of day of how things truly are and were. And it brings into disrepute everything about what their structure does to fighters. Brings it into disrepute. So, bring it. And if you don't actually sit with me, it's not going to do you any good. And what will happen over a period of time, and not a long period of time, fighters will start shying away from your promotional outfit. And perhaps they'll be coming over to people who have been affected by the shenanigans and the discrepancies of promoters and the like. You know what they do? They scurry around trying to sabotage, trying to be involved, trying to block, trying to sidestep us. Don't do that. You know, a man should have a dignity about themselves. You have a good business, you promoters. You know, creeping is, you don't need to do that. You don't need to try and get involved with us. Do your thing, you know, and I will even continue to help you do your thing. Okay, but we are a part of. You can't exclude us. Don't exclude us. We have our rights too. When I say our, I'm speaking of fighters. We have our rights too. Okay, so live and let live, or live and you will pass.
I want to pick up on some comments that you made in today's press conference, quite notably about Andre Ward. Quote, Chris EUBANK Senior, my son would wreck Andre Ward, or could wreck Andre Ward, you said, sorry, and that Andre Ward couldn't live with your son.
I don't believe he could. And I don't believe Andre Ward could. And that's giving away £6. We'd give that away. As I said, there's no one on this planet can negotiate with speed. You can't do it. There is no negotiation. It walks you down. You know, look, think of Roberto Duran. For those of you who know boxing, think of Roberto Duran. He was a man who never really sidestepped or slipped punches. He never did that going back. He always did it coming forward. It's an unusual skill, which is a wonderful art. And Junior is picking this up. Pressure fighting. You know, throwing 80, 90 punches on average around. Unless he goes into one of his 50 to 60 punch combinations. Oh my goodness. I so feel for you guys. But better I feel this way than the other. I am not concerned with Junior and his safety. One of the principles within boxing goes as follows. The best defense is offense, or to attack. Junior's constantly attacking if he wants to. So you tell me how Andre Ward beats Junior. In the third round of the Kovalev fight, he threw 35 punches. You can't go into the ring and do that with Junior. It's not going to happen. And, you know, people may say I'm stirring. I have to. This is what promotion is all about. This is why it's such a sexy game. Excuse me 1 minute. Always a pleasure. Please.
When people hear you talk, they get the impression you talk about your son as an undefeated fighter, he has lost in the ring. He has been beaten by Billy Joe Saunders. So there is a blueprint to beat your son. Would you agree with that?
The blueprint, hold on, would I agree with that? Actually, no. I wouldn't agree with it. And you are supposed to say why?
Of course.
Because he gave away the first 6 rounds. That's not a blueprint. Junior's not doing that anymore. And so there isn't really a blueprint. If he is firing from round 1, you tell me how you beat him. Okay, maybe he can't take a shot. Maybe that's a chance. Well, you guys like Golovkin, Ward included, DeGALE, we're coming for you. We're seasoning you now. If you can't take him out, how do you beat him? What are you going to do, James? Are you going to do what you should have done in the Badu Jack fight, which is to use your boxing skills and not engage, but to steal, because that's what you are? Metaphorically, you are a thief. And you should have stuck to that game plan, and you wouldn't have lost those teeth. And my son, Junior, is coming for the rest of them, as he has said. This is what we do. We are not playing. May sound funny, but we're not playing. We are fierce, relentless, and we have ITV, box office, behind us. So there are no politics now. There are no people getting in the way and putting us in lanes behind others. So how are you going to stop us? The only one who can stop us is the force of God. And we are respectful of our position. We are like the dust, we are nothing. But in this boxing business, the little that we are will annihilate everyone else. And that's what we do. Please.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, just we need to get some pictures of Gabriel with the man.
This is your son's first fight of 2017. These fights that we want to see as boxing fans, which will ultimately prove or not to prove if what you're saying is true, will we see those fights this year?
The fact that we are no longer being sectioned, we are no longer being contained by these other promoters. Now we have the ability to clean and, as I say, watch what happens now. I speak fiercely about our desire. You, the public, can say, well, it's just talk. He's always talking. You may not be old enough to remember, but if you go back into my career, when I won the World Championship in 1990, I defended it 5 times in the first year, 4 times in the first year. My average was 5 fights a year. So the fact is that we are truly fierce, not by talk, but by action. And the person who is steering and mentoring and explaining the process and the way forward is me to my son, Chris EUBANK Jr. So now we don't have the interference. Now they are redundant. Now they are contained. Now we have a free rein to go and do what we do. So everything you hear from the promoters, they're treating you as children. Okay? Barry Hearn said, and I quote, "The public are like children. You tell them what to do and they will do it." Barry, say it isn't so. I am not going to treat you that way. Okay? So effectively, you've heard me talk. This is how a fighter talks. I don't talk like a promoter. And this conversation, this these lyrics, this code is real. It's how a fighter, you would imagine this is how a fighter does talk, who is, you call it deluded. Many of you, the guys who are fans of the current promoters, many of you say that I'm deluded. Not that I am, but I understand what you say, because I'm going against all the things you've been taught. I don't use bad language, but there's a quote that I'd like to. It goes as follows. They indicated to me that the public should be treated like mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed on you know what. That I won't do. I'll be very open about what we do. And in being open, what will happen is that fighters, you should gravitate towards me. Not that I'm going to do anything to your current situation other than actually enhance your wealth, your opportunities. I'm going to enhance that. Why? Because I'm never going to allow them to do to you what they did to me. And again, I must tell you, you must understand, you must believe, I am not bitter or upset about it. I'm not. Because it gives me this platform, it gives me this ability now, which is such a beautiful thing, for me to be able to tell you the shortfalls, the pros, the cons.
Sorry.
The pros, the cons. And again, I'm not against them. What I am against is not giving us or anyone the right to have fairness and justice. Again, Barry Hearn said to me, no one gets onto Sky Box Office without me. That's how I was dealt with for my own son. And I don't want that being done to anyone. And it will be done to people, but eventually it's going to fizzle out. Bring it.
I want to talk to you about the open letter that Audley Harrison wrote, which I'm assuming you two have read. What did you make of the letter, and why do you think Audley felt it necessary to write that letter?
For the blockages that he has experienced, he will know that we have experienced the same thing, and he's highlighting that. The difference between Mr. Harrison and I is the fact that the blockages is the norm. So when he talks about institutional you know what, that's the norm. I'm happy to be able to play. Now that is probably an odd thing for the public to hear. 100 years ago, there's no way I could have played. So I'm grateful for what I can do. As unfair as it may be, it's the reason why we are winning. Because we have a chance. The world is not a balanced or a just place. So if I'm in a situation where I've got to do 4 times better than your 1, I'm happy with that. I have no complaints. Because we're fierce.
Let's move on to next week. You've acquired a decent undercard for this show on the 4th. David Price, Adam Edges against John Ryder, Kid Galahad. Are you satisfied with the undercard?
You see now, again, this misinformation which has been disseminated, you're talking to me as though I am the promoter. I am not the promoter. Richard Poxon is the promoter. He has done a marvelous job. I cannot take credit for what he has done. I take credit for steering Junior into this ITV box office position. That I can take credit for, but not for the promotion. It was always going to be a fantastic undercard because we work with the best. And while working with the best, as Barry once was, all of my artistic license, my creativity was for him. And he used it. And look at where they sit now. So why can't we do it for our own? And we are. But Richard Poxon is the fellow who is a silent genius.
So you're happy with it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The public are happy. ITV is happy. And so I'm happy.
What do we expect next Saturday? What do people paying the $9.95? What do we expect? People that are there in the crowd from the whole night. What to expect?
The reason why this fight is unmissable is because I am Chris Eubank Sr. Chris Eubank Jr. is fighting for a world championship. It doesn't even matter about the fight. This is an event. This is history repeating. So everyone's talking about, they don't like the fact that this guy, he's only knocked out Daniel Gill and he's only at 12. It's not about that. This is an event. This is history in the making. My son has an ability which is the best on the planet. If you don't like that term, I'm sorry you don't like the term, but that's how I not only feel, but that is my math. That is my calculation. And there's nothing anyone can do to change my perception. It's my perception. What is wonderful is the fact that I think that we're going to be able to prove it to you. So you must be looking forward to this. This is an event. This is dynasty being made in front of your eyes. How can that not be a spectacle of greatness? It's in the making. People talk about, you're always in the limelight. I'm a 19-time world champion. Anything I do is going to be in the limelight. I've never understood the word limelight. I have to look that up, but I get what you mean. I cannot get away from being famous. I cannot get away from being a star. And neither do I want to get away from it. It is the greatest of privileges to be able to have people smile at you on sight. To be able to raise awareness with your fame. It's something I had to earn. I remember back in the 90s, Frank Bruno was loved, and I thought, I want that love. But I don't have his personality. And it's the personality why he's getting this love. But hold on, I said to myself. This is about boxing. This is about being able to fight. And surely, if I can fight, then I should win the hearts and respect of the public. It took years and years and years for this to come. And I really did work hard for it. And so I am not giving this up for anyone. I am not doing anything to compromise my position. People say, well, you are affecting, your legacy. No, I am not affecting my legacy. And if I am, I'm doing it in the positive because I am bringing my son through in a very dangerous business, where there are creepy crawlies parasiting on us. And again, I'm not against them, but know what they are. So when they speak incorrectly or when they speak in the negative about me, it isn't fair. I'm not trying to upset your bandwagon. I'm trying to make it fair for the fighters, your fans. And by the way, if you asked me, who would I prefer? A fan who likes me or a fan who dislikes me? I want the one who dislikes me. Because the truth is, he can't really dislike me because he doesn't know me. But for every person who hears him throw his hands up in the air and say, this guy's a fake, he's stealing the limelight, he makes noise in the vicinity of about 15 people. All those 15 people then start disliking me slightly as well. But they know about me. And so they end up buying the fight. They end up paying money to watch me or see me lose.
Chris,
As opposed to...
I do apologise. You were on a roll, and I just had to make
okay.
room.
No problem at all. So, if I can remember my train of thought, I was saying that it's gone, but it'll come back.
I apologise. That was my fault.
What was the last thing I said?
You were talking about if you had the choice from
Oh, someone I liked and
someone you'd
yeah.
pick the person you didn't
Okay.
like because they didn't know you.
Okay, you see, the person who dislikes you makes enough noise that 15 people in the vicinity, the hearing distance, they hear and they say, well, I don't really like him either. I'll pay to watch him lose too. Thank you. As opposed to the guy who likes me who says, come on, be fair. He's a fair guy. He's done his work, He doesn't really activate anyone for me. And what is my remit now? My remit now is to get Junior recognized, the numbers. So between liked and disliked, you guys who dislike me, you will only love me when you meet me. Until then, you'll always be confused. This cane will confuse you. These shoes will confuse you. And this monocle will confuse you. But it will intrigue you to say, you know what? I want to see this guy lose. I'm going to buy. I'm going to watch. I'm going to see this character. I want to see him fall on his face. Let me tell you something about nature. Nature never allows you to fall on your face if you take risks. Never. It goes like this. If you laugh, you risk appearing to be a fool. If you weep, you risk appearing to be sentimental. If you reach out for another, you risk rejection. If you love, you risk not being loved in return. If you place your dreams in front of the crowd, as we do, you risk ridicule. If you go forward in the face of overwhelming odds, you risk failure. But risk must be taken, for the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, has nothing, does nothing, is nothing. That person may avoid suffering pain and embarrassment, but that individual will not learn, grow, feel, love, or change. Only the person who takes risks is truly free. Triple AP. Bring it.
Christopher, we do have to come to an end. I haven't interviewed your son yet, and he's fighting next week. I need to go and do this. But
I'm not holding you back.
No, but I don't really want to stop this at all.
Why?
Why don't I want to stop it?
Yes.
I don't know, I feel like I'm learning something today.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then if you feel you're learning, then perhaps the audience is interested or intrigued, because perhaps they are being entertained too. Wow. Wouldn't that be something, huh?
Do you want to know the most typical response I got from our first interview we did over the Christmas period?
Tell me.
So a typical response would be, I watched that EUBANK interview. What was that about? That was a standard thing people within the boxing world and outside the boxing world said. So I couldn't really answer them. So,
let me qualify what you've just said to me. If they said, what's that about? What was it about? Then by virtue of the fact that there is some 233,000 views.
Correct.
That means whatever it was interesting, because it certainly blows away what Edward was saying things which were,
Excuse me.
oh, he's trying. Give the young man a chance. And Frank, he needs some aspirin because obviously he gets emotional. I have no idea why. I mean, you know, I'm sure he's grateful that, you know, his children have been actually brought up on the backs of fighters like myself, Joe Kawasaki, Carl Thompson, and on and on and on. I don't understand why he isn't. I mean, I'm sure he's grateful. I mean, he has to be, right? And so the numbers speak for themselves. Okay, let me tell you the story here. There was a press conference back in '91, and I used to talk and talk and talk. And one day after this press conference, I was fighting Gary Stretch. What happened was there was only 3 reporters left in the press conference. Everyone had left, and I was still talking. And the story I heard some years later, when the 3 were walking out, leaving, one said to another, "What was he speaking about?" And the reply was, "I don't know, but it was brilliant." That's what we do. It's called entertainment. Always a pleasure. Anything else?
Christopher Eubank, Livingston
English,
Eubank.
English, English, English. I like English.
I prefer to call you Christopher.
You do that then.
Christopher, thank you very much for giving IFL TV quite a lot of your time again. We look forward to Fight Week next week. There's some interesting people that are going to be at the fight, including Andre Ward. So it'd be great to get you and Andre Ward in a clip together, and you can explain to him why your son would wreck him.
Well, I can do that.
My dear friend.
So long as he's a gentleman.
We're coming to an end.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
So long as he's a gentleman.
Other interviews.
So long as he's a gentleman, I'm sure it will work out.
If you see me with Andre Ward next week,
Yes.
because me and Andre go back long ways.
Yes.
If you see me, please feel free just to invite yourself. I've already invited you into the interview. So if you see me talking to Andre Ward with this camera, please, Chris, join us.
I don't know whether I would because I don't know the temperament of the man. If his temperament understands the fact that this is called real promotion, because this fight can happen. Just imagine if Junior can actually go up to light heavyweight and challenge a man like him. People will say it's talk, but we want to realize this talk. It's wonderful. Just imagine. And that's the magic of life and the beauty of boxing. We're real. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, it's a beautiful
Thank you very much. God bless you.
pleasure.